Hey there, everyone. My name is Ryan Schul. Welcome to my analytics channel. In the video today, I want to talk about financial life stage and how to make predictions of where a person is in this process in your financial life stage. Okay, so based on certain fundamental factors, we can determine where a person exists. Are they earlier in their financial life? Are they in the middle or are they towards the end? Okay, so using machine learning and data science techniques to make these types of predictions is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. We're going to look at a few different indicators here: income, age, assets. Do you have any debt, your monthly spending habits, retirement savings, and net worth? So I'm going to go ahead and run this cell right here, Control Enter to run it, and capture some input from the user. So basically, pretty straightforward here. We have age. This is going to be a float. This is a number that I'm going to input into the system here. Income, assets, do I have any debt or not? What's my monthly spending behavior look like? And what's my retirement savings? Net worth will be assets minus debts plus any retirement savings. I create a couple basic UDFs here. This is a user-defined function. If age is less than 30 and net worth is less than $50,000, probably early career. Okay, that's pretty basic. If age is less than 50, then probably mid-career, otherwise retirement ready. Okay, and we're going to create a very basic data frame based on the inputs from this user. Okay, so I'm 53. I'm going to just make up some stuff here. I'm just going to say 45. Okay, just for sake of argument here. Annual income, I'll put 120K. Not really, I'm way under that. Like not even making 10K right now, I don't think. Oh, assets, total assets, I'm just gonna make up some number here. I'm gonna put 250K, 000. Total debt, I don't have a lot of debt. Small mortgage, I'm gonna put in 50K. Okay. And monthly spending, I'm gonna put in 1,500. Okay, for groceries, for things like insurance, donations to my church. That's probably groceries, things like that. That's most of my annual monthly spending, monthly rate. And retirement savings, I'm just going to make up some random number here. I'm going to put in 500,000. Okay, good saver. Most people don't even have, I think, 50,000 saved up for retirement. What does the average person have in retirement? Let me Google this. I saw some news article recently. It's like ridiculously low. What does the saved for retirement? Okay, let's see what Google says. For all Americans, the median retirement savings is 87,000. That's shocking, right? People are heading into retirement with 87K. I mean, like, I don't know if that's going to be a good retirement. I would think you'd need at least $1 million. I guess it depends where you retire. 87 seems kind of low. Oh, wait. Here's some numbers. Okay, so 75 and older. Oh, I don't know if this is median. Yeah, I guess so. The average 462. Okay, so on average, 75-year-old person has about 462K, almost $500,000. And again, it really depends where you retire. If you retire in a big city, it's going to be obviously much more expensive than if you retire in a suburban area or a rural area, right? So anyways, okay, so we have the numbers. We put that into the system here. So here's just, it's just spitting out what I just gave to it, right? It's just regurgitating this information. Now we're going to train and encode the classifier. So this is where the ML stuff comes into play, right? So the X is going to be the independent variable. The Y will be the dependent. We are going to drop life stage and life stage encoded and just look at life stage encoded and make this kind of prediction, right? So the X variable is the independent variable. It's going to be all of these inputs right here. And the dependent variable is what we're trying to predict, and that is the Y, or the target variable. So we're going to use a random forest classifier. Number of estimators is set to 100, and random state is 42. We fit it, train it, and test it, and use that to make predictions. We have the Y is a predicted variable, remember that. So we have the predicted test set, and then the prediction set. Okay, and we're going to compare the predicted outcomes to the actual outcomes, right? So we use test size of 20%. The training is going to be the inverse of that. So 80% is trained, tested is 2%, I'm sorry, 20%. And we compare the test size with the predicted test. Okay, so that's how this stuff works. We have 100% for everything. So just a small, very tiny number of scenarios here. We have what, 86? What was the number? Oh yeah. Random was 100, right? So the total was 200, right? And the training was 80% of that, right? So that's fine. So we have good precision, good recall. So let me run this. So we're going to go ahead and make a prediction. Use previously trained classifier and LabelEncoder. Make sure the classifiers and LabelEncoder were trained. As shown earlier, the features for prediction is the X variable or the independent variable columns, right? And we are going to make the prediction right here, Control Enter to run the cell. Based on your inputs, your predicted financial stage is mid-career. Okay, and that kind of comes from over here, right? So we already told it if you are less than 50, you're mid-career. If you're under 30, you're early career, and net worth is under 50,000, early career. But we could play around with it, right? Like if the age is 30 and net worth is less than 50,000, I could say I'm 30. I could say I'm 29 and I've saved $500,000, right? Just to test this thing. Age is, let me say 28. That's less than 30, and I've saved, let's say make 250K, and net worth, total assets, I'm going to put at, let me do 750K. Total debt, I'm going to say small mortgage, 150K. Monthly spending, 2,000. And retirement saving, I'm going to say 600K. Okay, so I should put this definitely under 30, right? Because I put 28 for my age. And if net worth is less than 50,000, then early career. But let's just try to trick the system a little bit and say, because my net worth is going to be way over 50,000, it's not necessarily early career. This could be mid-career, right? So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so there's all the details. Net worth is 1.2 mil, I think. Is that what I'm saying here? Yep. Mid-career, okay, train, test, fit the model. Okay, and let's see what the prediction is. Mid-career, so it's actually saying mid-career, even though I put in 30, right? It should be earlier in the career, but the net worth is so high, it's actually tipping the scales into mid-career bucket. So let's look at the visualization of this. Control Enter to plot this. So almost without exception, age is really going to determine the life stage that you're in, right? So I put in 28, but the retirement savings is pretty substantial here. Retirement savings is 13% influence on the predicted variable, which is the predicting life stage, right? We said Y variable is life stage encoded. Okay, so we have the age of the individual contributing 70% to the life stage that life stage bucket, either early, mid, or late career. 70%, almost 69.9 importance in terms of making that type of prediction. Retirement savings has a small influence. Net worth has a tiny influence, 7%. Assets, 4%. Debts and monthly spending, about 1%. And income really is about 1%. So age really determines 70% of the time which life stage that you're in. And I guess that makes sense, right? Like how old you are determines your life stage, right? That's what we're doing, life stage prediction. So let's refresh this. Okay, Control Enter to run the cell. We could say comparison of financial metrics by life stage. So income does have a big influence for early career, mid, and retirement planning. Number of assets you have, debt has some influence. Monthly spending really doesn't have very much influence in your life stage. Retirement savings has somewhat influence, especially if you are retirement ready, and your overall net worth definitely has the most influence on the life stage prediction process here. So let me go ahead and refresh this. This is a heat map here. We can see what the life stage versus feature is, right? So the higher the value, the more yellow the cell, and the darker the color, the less value or influence you have on between the life stage and then the features that we're looking at. So early career and age really doesn't have that much influence. It's pretty low. This is all 30, 30, 30, 25.5. But also I put in like kind of a weird scenario. I said that this guy's pretty low, pretty young age, and he has a pretty high net worth. If you make it a little bit more realistic, let's say, let me say 55. Annual income, let's say 150K. Total assets, we could say 450K. That right? Total debt. Okay, we have a mortgage, 250K. Monthly spending, 250, and retirement savings, I'm gonna say this guy's 480. Save that one. Okay, this is probably a little bit more realistic than the last one. Control Enter to run it and make the prediction here. Okay, so we have all ones over here. This is a very, very basic scenario. That's why it's coming out basically perfect here. Based on your inputs predicted, financial life stage is retirement ready, right? You guys 55 years old, pretty much ready for retirement. Control Enter to refresh. And again, age has big influence. 69% influence on the person's readiness to retire. Let's refresh this. Control Enter. And yeah, kind of what we saw before. So this doesn't really change a whole lot. Control Enter. And again, kind of getting like similar outputs as before. That's fine. The brighter the yellow, the higher the number, right? So retirement ready. And net worth have a high correlation over here, right? So that makes sense. You've basically worked your whole life and you're getting close to retirement and you have a high net worth. Anything that's orange is going to have a high number right here. So mid-career net worth, that makes sense. Early in career, net worth is going to be lower, right? Later in career, you're just going to have more money, presumably. Now you could maybe not be a good saver. That's definitely possible, and you don't have a ton saved up for retirement, but people are presumably working on that, right? Saving more as you get older and older and preparing for your retirement. So let's just plot this and see what this looks like. This is a trend comparison across financial features. So based on age and life stage, we can see which features contribute the most, right? So income and value, or mid-career, early career, and retirement ready, right? Retirement ready being green. So this guy is green over here. Net worth, high net worth, and he's retirement ready. And income over here on the left, and value, these numbers are a little bit lower. I like these plotly charts because you can zoom in, you can zoom out, right? Look at all the details, double click to get back to where you were before. And then of course you can turn these on and turn these off if you want to see different views, right? So that is pretty cool too. And that's it, guys. So just using some basic machine learning prediction techniques here. Random forest classifier, I think that's what I chose, right? Or RF classifier, or was it XGBoost? I think that was the RF random forest, right? Yes, that one. So just using a basic classifier to go ahead and make these predictions into the future based on certain inputs or basic inputs that we have captured from the user. So that's it. Pretty short one today. Nice, tight, crisp. Just want to get the message out there and show you how to do a basic machine learning technique using a classifier and predict which life stage a person's in based on the inputs that they provided from a couple questions that came from right here. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here, and just want to say thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now, and talk to you soon. Goodbye.